Hello, this is a quick video to explain the filter having feature in EmpowerDB's all-in-one reports. So the first thing to mention here is that this feature is continuing our trend of kind of intentionally giving ambiguous names to features that we're worried will be misused. So we're kind of wanting maybe more only the advanced users using this feature by giving it kind of a little bit of an unclear name. The advanced part is not so much how to use it. I think it'll be pretty straightforward how to use it. The advanced part is when it should be used. So let's talk that through. So I've got this really basic report that's looking at active clients from this quarter. And we're looking at some fake names and some fake genders. And we can come in here and say, on this gender column, I want to filter and say only include the rows that are matching exactly 1. And so we put in the raw value of whatever is in this is in this row, and we know that female, the raw value for that is 1. And we'll click save to this, and there we go. Now it's only including all females. Now this is not what you would want to do. I mean, this obviously is working, but what you would want to do instead, there's just no reason to do that. The system is still having to pull all of the other people who are not females, processing them, figuring out their name, figuring out how to display what their gender is. There's just no reason to do this. Instead, if we really wanted to only see females, we could come in here and say, and active clients, and show me just females. This is going to be much better for the computer. We don't need to do that extra filter thing. The reason why we would want to have something to use the filter having feature is if we want to do some sort of filter based off of information that we either can't get out of this query weir, or it would just be way too complicated to get it and would probably be easier to do it through the filter having. So for example, this query, we're just getting show me all the services from last quarter, and we're pulling their direct time spent. But some of these people, I assume, have multiple, activities in here. So we're adding up all their service times over the quarter into one final direct time spent. So let's say we only want to include the people who received more than 1 hour worth of services. So there's probably some other way to do it, to work around to get it so that we're looking at only the people who had direct time spent over an hour, through something up here. But in this case, we're going to say, you know what? I know the way to do it. We're just always going to remove people with less than 1 hour in here. Okay. And then now those people are being removed. So the key thing to know is all these rows that just got removed, the system is mostly still processing all the information for all those rows. So if your report is really lagging and you've got a whole bunch of these filter having things in here, then it might be a good sign that you shouldn't have all those filter having things. The filter having bit is fast enough. Like, that's not a slow feature, but it's still doing a lot of processing on a lot of other data. And so you might want to think how you can get what you want to accomplish to happen through this query weir instead. And we are very happy to help with that. Okay, but hopefully you see that this was lickety split fast. We just said, get rid of everybody under an hour, and it did it. Hooray. And that's what this feature is. Super powerful, really great. The other way that you might be using this feature like this is, a lot of times what we end up doing is there'll be, a long series, like multiple columns that we're trying to look at, and we create kind of a formula column that says, okay, if there's this and this and that, blah, 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 figure it all out, and end up creating either a 1 or nothing if something matches. what we're expecting to see. So here the complicated formula was, okay, show me anybody who received more than 1 hour service and only received a hotline call during this time. And so we can come in here and say, okay, now we want to say only include matching exactly 1. And now this is the only record where that all worked out. Again, we see one result. It might take a long time to pull this one result because it's having to process a ton of other results in there. But sometimes this is the best and only way to do it, to get at what it is. Okay, so again, in summary, the filter having is for situations where you want to filter your results based off of something that isn't directly in the data, that only is apparent once all your data is processed. So that's typically something that's apparent based off of how that a bunch of records are combined and how we're looking at the combined into. So in here, in this case, we had looking at the sum was only apparent after we did the processing or after we did a formula column. The formula column was done after the processing. So we need to then take another look and say, okay, now that we've done all that processing, I want to do some extra filtering. It is possible to have more than one column in your results set with filter having. It's going to go from left to right to do to make those decisions. So it could be the case that somebody is kept in one row, but then removed in another row. If you want some sort of situation where it's like, oh no, actually only, I only want somebody to be removed if both this and that are true. In that case, you would have to create an extra formula column and find some sort of way to combine those two columns into one thing. And then in your filter having on that extra formula column, say, okay, only include the people who have this combined matching thing. If that last bit didn't make sense to you, that's fine. Okay, I hope this video is helpful to you. Again, Empower TV Support is very happy to talk to you more about how this feature works and offer our suggestions on how best to use it for what you're trying to accomplish. Thanks.